up, everybody? This is Cool Dude, and welcome back to Cool Reviews. Yeah. Okay, so, this video, of course, if you've seen the title description, I'm going to be talking about It Chapter 2. If you've seen my Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I'd say you should watch to know the rules of how my reviews work, but still, if you've seen that, you know I liked Chapter 1. It's, by far, I think, one of my favorite, like, newer horror movies that have come out in quite a while. It had some good scares, had some good characters, you know, the kids are always a riot. Finn Wolfhard did a good job playing Richie, and yeah, just everyone was just cool. It was a great story, great characters and whatnot, so I was obviously very, very excited about the sequel, Chapter 2, seeing how they tackled the adult side of the story. I was also a little concerned, though, because, I don't know if I was going to get attached to James McAvoy or Bill Hader the same way I got attached to all the kids from Chapter 1. So I kept my hopes up, but not too up. You know what I mean? I did try to keep it, like, modest. So how did I feel about the movie overall, you might ask? I do agree with the masses, the ones that say that this isn't as good as the original, the first one, I mean. And it's not as good as It Chapter 1, like, not by a long shot. But is it good? Yeah, in some areas, and I will get to them, but overall, I'd say It Chapter 2 is decent. So if you don't know what It Chapter 2 is supposed to be about, I'll try to keep it, like, spoiler-free, of course, because I'm not that spoiler type of guy, so don't worry about that. And also, I'm not a film critic or whatnot, so please do not just send death threats to me or anything else. Good? Good. Alright, so, first, let's talk about Pennywise. Yeah. The dancing clown. Yeah, I don't do a good impression. Okay, so, what do I think about him? His scares aren't as good as Chapter 1, because they show him too much walking around kind of in broad daylight, or they just keep throwing one scare after another, or they just keep repeating the same formula. Like, a character will be walking around, just kind of like, and all of a sudden they see like a typical horror cliche coming, like, someone behind the curtain over there. So then naturally they walk up to it, and then they open the curtain, and then I'm just sitting there like, I wonder what's coming. I wonder what the setup's gonna be. And they open the curtain, he's not there. I'm like, oh, gee, where could he have gone? And then, boom, it just pops up right behind him out of nowhere. And just, wow, scary, I guess. It's just scares like that. It's just way too predictable for me. And also because It Chapter 1, I think, did a much better job of keeping Pennywise hidden. He was either in a different form, or he just kind of showed up at random, or the scares were properly built up. But this one, I don't think it had that same amount of build-up. Also, this movie drags on. This movie is 2 hours and 50 minutes. 2 hours and 50! And you're gonna feel every single one of those minutes when you watch it. I'm just sitting there in the theater, I think it was towards the middle when they're actually starting to get to killing Pennywise, that I'm just like, Jesus, how long is this movie? How much longer do we have? I didn't have it watching the theater, so I don't know why I'm looking like that. But still, it is long as heck. And that's another problem I have with the movie. If I have any problems, this is the big one. It's half of the movie they could just cut out of nowhere. I'm not gonna spoil which scenes they are, but there's a certain part, like towards the middle, pretty much most of the middle part, that they have to do something, and then towards the end, it's pretty much nothing. It leads up to absolutely nothing. So I'm just like, what was the purpose of that? What was the purpose of that hour-long detour that we had just a few seconds ago? Exactly nothing. So why did you show it? Stuff like that. Just feels like they could have spent so much more time getting to the meat of the story as opposed to just doing pointless stuff. I mean, I'm not a movie director or anything, but I feel like that's really important in telling a movie. In making a movie. Why did they tell a movie? They're not telling a story, they're making a movie. And honestly, like, I wouldn't have minded it so much if they spent that time actually wisely, like if they were doing something very, very important that the story needed to drag out. I would have at least understood that, but no! Literally none. There's this one side quest, supposedly, with this, I won't spoil who, but this one random kid that, a grown-up Bill, obviously James McAvoy, decides, oh, I want to help because he reminds me of me, and he's living in our house and whatnot. And he goes in, and the kid, literally, at the end of it, I won't spoil what happens to him, but it just goes nowhere. It's just like, why did we need to focus on that? We're supposed to be killing a clown, people. We're not supposed to be helping random kids. I mean, I know it's sad that they're dying, but thousands of them are dying anyway, so just kill them and get it over with. So anyway, speaking of those adult characters, how are the adult characters in the movie? They're really good. I will say that. They are very, very good. Like, I could definitely see all these adults being pretty much the grown-up counterparts of the original kids and whatnot. Oh yeah, and the original kids, they're in this too. Some of them in terrible CGI. That's another thing, the CGI is not as good as it was in the first one. And, like, in no regard. Some of these effects look like a straight-up Looney Tunes cartoon, in my opinion. Just all of it looks like a cartoon to me when the CGI starts to kick in. Some of them are scary, kind of like in the original. Just some of them, just very few of them, I would say. But still, half of that relies on the shock factor that I got from the characters. It didn't rely on the actual image that was being portrayed. So I felt like they could have done way better with that. And another thing that bothers me about the scares is that, in terms of the kids, this is a thing I've had about it in general, that the reason why the kids are so much better, like, telling the story-wise, is that they're kids, and you can get more scared because they're just kids, and you don't want to see anything bad happen to, you know, just little kids. That's awful. But in terms of adults, like, sure, some of the stuff they see is, like, beyond terrible, but you don't really, like, have a fear for them as much as you did when they were kids, so, you know, it's just, that's the whole predicament for me. Like, I'm not as scared as Pennywise just running up to James McAvoy because he's James McAvoy. So, yeah, that's basically how I feel about the whole adult-kid situation. But in terms of the movie, the adults are great. Like, the adults are fantastic. The interaction they have with one another really makes the movie work for me. Like, it feels natural in a way. Like, it feels like if this was actually happening to adults, if they were grown up and they had to face an evil killer clown that can transform into all their fears again, back in a town that they really did not like, at least it seems, but I don't know. I would hope that they didn't like it, but anyway, I could see this being roughly the approximation of it. Not that it would happen in real life. God, I hope not. Back to the scares. Yeah, some of the scares, they're either copy and pasted from the original, like, you know, not Richie, what am I saying? Eddie. They get their names mixed up for some reason. Eddie, the germaphobe, obviously, who he was formerly in the first movie, it's not really spoilers, it's just facts, was being chased by a leper in the original Chapter 1. So, in this new movie, I guess he's still a germaphobe because he gets chased by a leper. So it's like, really? Like, come on, you could have done better. I mean, not that adults don't have a lot of fears, but some of them, they do a good job manifesting their fears that have come over time, like loneliness, isolation, all that bad stuff that, you know, some adults can have and fear of. But, you know, just overall, I just feel like the scares were just lacking in this one. Very lacking. I just felt like they didn't have the proper setup, they didn't have the proper effects to make it look scary, and they didn't have the right amount. Because even in the original, the Chapter 1, why am I saying the original? Okay, Chapter 1, the scares were very well spaced out, in my opinion. They knew when to be a scary moment, they knew when to be a good moment. This one, there's like way too much talking for like certain parts, and then after that it's just bam, 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 scares, bam, bam, bam. And then they just go back to normal talking, bam, 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 scares. Like, just hitting you with like almost like a honey rabbit, just go boom, and it's like, hold on a second here. You're just seeing like you're overcompensating for lost time now. I mean, that talking is really good. It gets character development. What I'm trying to say is that anyway, as I was gonna say, I feel like they could have spaced them out a lot better. God, what was that? But anyway, that's pretty much all. That's the most important things anyway, because again, I don't want to make this like a 20-minute video. I'm not one of those channels. But, overall, Chapter 2, it's weird how I'd rank it. I'm gonna give it like, an Xbox glove. Which sounds very weird, but it's Xbox glove. Basically, I'd say it's like a 2.5. So it's like an Xbox 360 mixed with the Power Glove. Xbox glove. That sounds like a new product that they would make in competition for the Power Glove back then. But still, I think it's a good movie overall. Like, I think it's a I wouldn't say the best ending for It Chapter 1, but I know if you want to watch it, like, I'd say you'll have a good time. You'll have good enough. Adults are great. Scares are pretty lacking. CGI is not as good as the first one, and it's way too long. I'm telling you, your butt's gonna start hurting once you sit down in the theater. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I promise I'm not just doing horror movies. I'm just... It just so happened that there was 2 horror movies back to back that I really wanted to watch, so... You know, any movie basically I want to watch or see, and I will see in the movie theater, I will give a review on it. And It Chapter 2 is just one of those movies. But anyway, guys, until next time, stay cool and review, dude. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, y'all.